Hey guys, it's Amanda Christine. Thought I'd do a little bit of a live today. I'm going to start coming to you guys live more often. I have some things that I want to talk to you about. I'm super excited about it. So if you are just hopping on, make sure you comment below. Let me know that you are joining me today. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic and blessed Sunday. Again, if you're just hopping on, make sure that you're commenting below so that I can go ahead and see who all is jumping on. So here's what I want to tell you guys about, I guess I want to tell you a little bit about me. So I'm 35, I have two kids. One is 7 and in 2nd grade, and the other one is 12 and in 7th grade. I'm a network marketer, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a nutritional coach, but as a child, I was this dreamer. I was this girl who had a My First Sony and would sing in the middle of the living room, and I would pretend like I was on stage with all these people, watching me, and I would just sing and sing and sing and sing. And then in middle school, once we had our first house, my mom and I, we had our first house, we had a full-size unfinished basement. And I used to go around the basement with my roller skates on and pretend I was a figure skater. Why I thought I wanted to be a figure skater, I will never know. But life growing up wasn't always easy. I moved all the time before I was 11. I went to the same middle and high school, but I went to a lot of different schools before I was in middle school. So I was at least blessed to have the same people throughout my childhood growing up from the time I was 11 till I was about, until I graduated high school. So 6th all the way through 12th grade. That was awesome. The most I ever lived anywhere before that was like 2 years. So I moved all the time before I was 11. Before I was 4 years old, I was sexually molested sexually assaulted by my father at a really young age. I was raped and had an abortion before I was 21 years old. I was married and divorced by the time I was 25. And I had eating disorders, drank a lot, was a binge drinker. So despite all of the soul-crushing obstacles that I went through as a young adult or even as a child, and the many times I felt like I was feeling like giving up, I was able to navigate truly by God's unfailing grace. Like, there's no reason I should have been able to get through some of the things that I got through, except for the fact that I was able to see that I was made for more, right? So in college, I realized I went into music in college for all the wrong reasons. In high school, I tried out for a show choir for 4 years, never got in, but I was in honors choir. I was a very talented singer. I did really, really well in vocal music competitions and things like that, but I tried out every single year, and I didn't get in every single year, and the competition was super stiff. I don't believe that it had anything to really do with how well you sang at that point, because I was in the honors choirs and things like that. I think a lot of it had to do with the way I looked, and I was the chunky girl, I was tall, and the two didn't go hand in hand. And so I went into college despite I think a little bit into music education, to spite my high school music director, to be quite honest, because I wanted to have I remember saying it, and it sounds so awful now, but I remember saying I wanted to have a show choir that beat our show choir with a bunch of fat girls, a bunch of overweight, very talented girls that could sing and dance. It didn't matter what they looked like, and I wanted them to beat him, and so it was for all the wrong reasons, and maybe, that I didn't make it, and that was it. But one thing I did realize is that I love teaching, and I love coaching, and I love mentoring, and I love helping, just not kids. I have 2 of my own, and I love them dearly. But there's no way, God bless all of you teachers out there, I could never do what you are doing, particularly in 2020. which we'll talk more about that on another day. But my kids' teachers are, especially my daughter's teacher, she's just absolutely incredible. And the stuff that she does for these kids in virtual learning is absolutely awesome. So later on in life, I worked in customer service and sales. I worked a lot in an office. I was a bridal consultant. Loved working in the bridal industry. I even went into freelance wedding planning on my own to make some extra cash for myself, and always had kind of an entrepreneurial mindset. I've always been really crafty. My grandmother taught me how to sew when I was like 8, and so I have done all those kind of entrepreneurial things, I guess, from a very young age. I always liked doing like cookie sales and things like that in when I was a Girl Scout and things like that. If you ever did like music fundraisers and you were like the go-getter and walked around the neighborhoods and went to every single house and just asked, drop a comment below, because I want to know. I was that competitive kid that always wanted to sell the most pizzas or the most candy bars or the most whatever it was for my school, because I got, I don't know, a trip, or I got, I don't know, a free keychain with a rubber duck on it or something, you know, like something simple. It didn't matter what it was, but you got something, and you had to be the best and whatever. So I always strive to do that. And then I worked in an office. I worked for a state program with some people through a state-funded program for transportation for like Medicaid patients, and the pay sucked, but it was Monday through Friday. I could be there for my then I just had my son, and there was benefits and paid vacation. However, he was in daycare from sunup till almost sundown. I felt like I never saw him, and I felt like I'd come home. I feel like a semi was driving out of my head. I got called the worst names in the book. I didn't want to do anything on the weekend. I never got to travel. I couldn't take the vacation because I never got it approved off. It was not good. And so thankfully, again, by God's grace, I was able to circumnavigate that, and the business ended up losing their contract right as I was having my youngest, my daughter. And so I was able to not have to go back to work there. Still did some waitressing, still did some things off and on, worked for different coffee shops. Then fast forward, through all of the eating disorders and the binge drinking and everything else, I was presented with an opportunity about, 8-9 years ago, that dealt in the health and wellness industry. And that really changed my thinking about health and wellness. I had lost a massive amount of weight. I went from 324 to like 146, between 146 and 155, depending on the day. And I was bulimic, I was a binge drinker, I had gastric bypass, which for me enabled me to have awful eating disorders. Mentally, I wasn't sound. I was addicted to shopping, spending money in that I didn't have, causing a whole lot of debt, all a bunch of stuff, just not very good stuff. However, through this other thing I was taught, through this other industry, network marketing, I was taught to honor my temple and also to keep an open mind. And that company compromised its morals and values. And about 5 years ago, I ended up switching companies and got to this company that I'm with now that is completely 100% science-based. Super, super awesome products, has completely changed my whole health and wellness. I went from sleeping like 14 hours a day in a massive adrenal burnout and adrenal failure to being the healthiest I've ever been, having the best body fat percentage I've ever had, having the most energy I've ever had, sleeping really good. So all that good dandy stuff, and the only thing that really changed my life is this, what Erin Brockovich, who, not the Julia Roberts Erin Brockovich, the real one, she uses a term called stick-to-itiveness, and I really, really like that. And she's actually on our board of directors now. And that stick-to-itiveness of really, really keeping that open mind and taking a look at things and just being open to other opportunities in life, whether it was through a job, a job job, through a business opportunity, whatever it was, it didn't matter. But just keeping that open mind and then having that stick-to-itiveness to try to follow something through has got me to where I am today. And so I've been super blessed by Team Heart and the successes in changing lives and things like that. And initially, network marketing for me was a plan B. It was never the plan A. It was never something that I was going to do full time. I figured I'd always have to have a job. I'd always have to be doing something. And so before all this massive shutdowns and all that kind of stuff happened, I was working as a personal trainer, teaching group fitness classes at a local gym. And I was not getting paid super well, but it was paying the bills. I was able to part-time build my network marketing income. And then COVID happened and I was furloughed. And no idea when we were going to be able to go back. Thought it was only going to be a few weeks. Then turns out a few months. And then in the shift of moving houses and trying to have a bigger space and for my family and trying to figure out what we're going to do when it comes to school and everything else, go to verify some employment for a house, and they took me off their payroll. I no longer had a position anymore. And so plan B now had to become plan A. And so I'm super grateful for having, they say dig the well before you're thirsty, right? I'm so glad that I laid the groundwork for that before all this stuff happened, or I'm not sure. I mean, I could probably imagine, but I can't say for sure what would have happened with all of this stuff because, you know, unemployment and stimulus, and I'd have to go out or would have had to go out and find a different job and things like that. So this plan B that's now plan A has actually allowed me to make decisions that are better all over for my children and my family's mental health and then the overall continuity in their lives on a daily basis, because right now they're offered this hybrid learning, which is they'd go to school 3 days a week or maybe 2 days and they'd be home and then all this other stuff. But it's allowed me to say, okay, we can do virtual learning. I will be home with them Monday through Friday, making sure that they're on their computer, that they're doing their work. And I believe that it's actually helped propel them forward and they're able to succeed a little bit more. They're able to get that attention. And the teachers are doing an amazing job as well. And so my plan B has now become my plan A. And if it wasn't for someone offering me that option, I would have never had that. And so I guess I want to share a little bit about what my vision is going forward. I'm super excited about the next 18 months. So for me in the next months, I want to give 5 women or more, but I want to try to accomplish and help 5 women just to create those options, whether it's to annihilate debt, to stay at home if they aren't able to stay at home. Maybe it's to work part-time and be there more for their kids or whatever it is, and have the common term is a side hustle. Or maybe it's just to pay for your family's groceries because your job isn't paying the bills 100% and it's causing, you know, turmoil and things like that. Or maybe it's to retire you, or maybe to retire your spouse. Like I never thought that this could be me. I never thought that I would be able to be making an income from home, being able to help my kids, being able to do all these things because of my background in vocal music education. So really, you don't have to be in nutrition, you don't have to be in health, you just have to be able to love people, and then that's what's so awesome for me. So maybe this is you. You know, I know what I do isn't for everyone. I know it's not. And I'm at the point where I don't care what you do with the information. I don't care if you choose this option. I don't care if you choose what I do or what somebody else does. But I just care that you know you have options and you know what the options are. So if this is you, let me know. If it's not you, or if you don't know, take a look. What's the worst that could hurt, right? So that's me. That's my story. Chaos, super chaos, to now having a vision and a future and somewhere to build upon and going from this much to this much. And so this could be you too. Just know that it's there for you if you choose. So comment below, let me know. If you hop on the replay, make sure you comment replay below, and I will catch you guys all later. Have a wonderful, blessed Sunday, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.